Across our region and across the country, vehicle theft rates have soared over the last several years. Now, there are multiple factors at play, from advancing technology to law enforcement staffing struggles. Experts say it's something that we are all paying the price for, which is why we're going under the hood and diving into the auto theft epidemic.
I never, ever once thought that my car would be stolen.
But that's exactly what happened to Brian Calabrese.
The car was stolen in under 4 minutes.
A 2024 Nissan GTR valued at $150,000, snatched right from his Lancaster apartment's garage in the middle of the night.
They did not have my keys. They did not break the glass. It was a team of individuals that stole the car. From my perspective, it looked like they had cased the place.
It's a wild story, becoming all too common across South Central Pennsylvania and across America.
We had been on a pretty good winning streak, if you want to call it that, up until a few years ago.
Stephen Wheeler is the executive director of the Pennsylvania Automobile Theft Prevention Authority, with more than 30 years of law enforcement experience under his belt.
Shut the door.
And then we got hit with, as a result of the COVID and the lockdowns and people, not being out and about, and then cars sitting for extended period of times, things started to happen.
And in the last several years, experts say auto theft has become an epidemic.
There used to be an idea that, car theft is joyriding. It's some teenagers that took your car because it had the keys, and then they went for a ride, and then they left the car after it ran out of gas or whatever. Not the case anymore.
That rings true in Brian's case.
They used a crowbar on this door, and as you can see, it was damaged right there.
As has become common with these crimes, the thieves were able to steal the signal from a key fob inside his apartment.
They were definitely professionals. I spoke with Nissan. Nissan actually tried to send my car a new software system so that they could track it, and it didn't work.
Professionals who are going well beyond just stealing from private vehicle owners.
Car theft tends to be sophisticated, tends to be organized. We see dealerships that are getting hit.
Dealerships like Morgan Automotive in Penn Township, Lancaster County.
These guys will stop at almost nothing. They have no fear whatsoever.
In the span of 18 months, owner Doug Morgan has had 5 cars stolen off his lot. One of those thefts seen here in this security footage. 3 cars were eventually recovered, but the crimes still total nearly a $500,000 hit to the business.
It's time, it's personal property, it's the cars themselves. If we do get them recovered, now we have to sell them as recovered theft cars. They're typically damaged.
Get on the internet, look for the cars that are high-end, high-priced, that they know can sell, or that they're taking orders for. And then, there's one at this dealership, there's 2 at that dealership, there's one, and then come out at night and go to the dealership, steal the cars right off the lots.
The National Insurance Crime Bureau says the U.S. is experiencing a surge in vehicle thefts, which started at the onset of the pandemic. Not only are more cars being stolen, but many cases are going unsolved. Fox 43 collected data which shows since 2019, city police departments in Harrisburg, York, Lancaster, and Lebanon all have clearance rates below 40% when it comes to car thefts, resulting in an arrest. According to the latest FBI statistics, these numbers are the same as or better than the national average solve rate for vehicle theft cases. Police tell us regardless, that number doesn't always tell the whole story.
They are being charged, but there is something that you'd have to make the differences between that individual being in possession of a stolen vehicle and that individual being the person who stole the vehicle.
Captain Captain Ata Akakbo Martin of the Harrisburg Bureau of Police explained some of the factors which go into the investigation.
There are certainly vehicles that are known as fiend floats. People voluntarily give up their vehicles for whether it's drugs or cash or other sorts of means to allow other people to use those cars, and those people take the opportunity not to return those cars.
It's a similar story in Lancaster.
It's our job through these investigations to link those two separate pieces, the actual theft of the vehicle and the recovery. So that's why it makes it very difficult to track these incidents and actually give you a really solid clearance rate.
And police say when it comes to these crimes, it can be a challenge to develop evidence. Staffing shortages are another obstacle.
And an individual stolen car is important to you as the victim, and it's certainly important for the police. But with all the other things they have to do, it becomes an issue. How much time and energy can we do on this?
It is not just one person, one officer, one detective. It usually takes all of the officers and detectives working together. It isn't easy because of the way that we are currently staffed and situated. You know, it takes a little bit more time and effort, and you got to make sure that you're looking into every avenue that you get when reporting a stolen vehicle.
Meanwhile, what may be put on paper as just a property theft could be turning a victim's life upside down.
You know, get up now, your car is gone. I can't take my child to school. I can't pick them up after school and take them to soccer. I can't go visit my mother in the hospital. I can't get the prescription drugs for my wife. I can't get all of those things that now affect the everyday stuff you take for granted in your life is because you came out and your car's gone. It really is kind of a rolling threat in terms of it starts with the stolen car and all of these other things can happen to affect your life.
But there are bigger problems than just daily inconveniences.
Nobody commits a crime with their own car. So if you're going to rob a bank, you're going to abduct a child, you're going to do a drive-by shooting, or you're going to do any of a variety of serious and often violent crimes, it starts with stealing a car somewhere.
A lot of times these stolen cars are being used as an instrument in another crime. Would you say that's something that you're seeing here in Harrisburg?
That is correct. We've had a lot of shootings that result in vehicles that have been reported stolen. Sometimes the vehicle itself is being reported stolen after we are finding major crimes that have occurred.
And if they're not being used in another crime?
The detective said that a lot of times what happens is they end up in a shipping container.
The cars that were recovered in the Maryland waterfront area, getting ready to be put on containers.
You can fill in the blank as to where a vehicle could go and get shipped across the ocean somewhere, and we could never track that back down again.
U.S. Customs and Border Protection inspection facility near the Port of Baltimore. Officers spend their days trying to prevent that from happening.
We're kind of that last line of defense.
From Baltimore, the target destination is West Africa, where a lucrative black market entices transnational criminals.
Their main goal, just like any criminal organization, is money. How can they make money the easiest, fastest way? One of the ways they do that is they steal cars, they put them in containers, and they try to get them past us. You can see, well, I can see two vehicles. You got this one down here and that one up there. I'll be interested to see if the vehicles in the front are in better shape than these. I'm wondering if these are just concealing the nicer vehicles up front. Looks like some junk. This is the bottom of a lamp. It's not often you see 5 vehicles in one of these containers. Max we usually see is 4. Yeah, we'll have to get in there and see the cars up front to see if it's legit or not. And then you'll notice all the mattresses everywhere. There's stacks of them back here in the warehouse. When we get cars, you get mattresses. They use it for for packing material to not damage the cars. And they'll also use it as concealment, trying to conceal the cars behind the mattresses.
Their thought process is that they're creating too much work for you guys, thinking you guys aren't going to do the work.
Exactly. And you'll see some of the containers over here where they're just packed.
Now, these are just a couple of the vehicles taken out of those shipping containers. And through this last fiscal year, that's October of 2023, through this last August, the total value of stolen vehicles seized by just the Baltimore field office alone is $11.1 million.
It's really an epidemic that's really destroying some of our neighborhoods and our cities and towns.
CBP's area port director in Baltimore, Adam Rotman.
This car is a fairly new Pathfinder. Hey, Brock, do you know where this one was stolen out of? We don't know that one.
Walks us through some of the sophisticated tricks.
What they did is they took this pump here, they put it between a window, they pumped it up to push the window out a little bit so they could get in here and replace this VIN without breaking the window.
Officers try to be one step ahead.
So we got to be able to find these things, the missing VINs on the car. Every vehicle has hidden VINs, and only law enforcement and the manufacturers know where those hidden VINs are. So you can try to go around and replace all the VINs you want. You're not going to find the hidden ones.
U.S. Customs and Border Protection, like most other law enforcement, is strapped for resources.
We see hundreds of thousands of containers a year, right? We have to make those determinations of which ones that we think those vehicles might be in. So it's resource heavy, and then just so much of it's coming in that it's hard to balance those two things.
That's why the federal agency works hand in hand with local and state police, with the goal of determining which vehicles are stolen and ultimately returning them to their owners.
As soon as you know your car is stolen, you have to get it in the system, meaning the computer database, right? So call your local police department. They can get it into the computer database. Because someone could steal a car in York, Pennsylvania, and get it in a container and over here to the Port of Baltimore within days.
From the ports back to the roads, the growing problem of vehicle theft is impacting all of us.
Obviously, the more cars that are stolen, the more claims there are, the more the insurance company has to pay out, the more that has an effect on what their rates are going to be.
The question becomes, how do we stop it? Or can we?
If they want your car, they're going to get your car. We're just trying to make it more difficult, make the response quicker, and hopefully they move to a different area to steal cars. That's the best I can say.
As technology continues to progress, experts say it's a rat race.
Anything I can invent, in a short period of time, somebody figures a way to override that. And then I've got to figure a way to fix that, and then they figure a way. So it's a constant battle, I think, with the manufacturers keeping up with the technology, and then what does that cost them to do that?
The criminals aren't slowing down, so it's important to be aware.
If you own a car, you're a potential target. And if you own a particular kind of car, you may be a greater target.
Police in Lancaster County have created an auto theft task force, and in Harrisburg, police say license plate readers have helped dramatically in identifying and recovering stolen vehicles.
When we get vehicles that are listed as stolen, we're able to put those into a database, and we've got fixed cameras or mobile cameras that are all over the cities to include other jurisdictions and areas where those tags will be flagged.
But there is plenty more work to be done by law enforcement.
With anything else, where there's a will, there's a way. And when somebody has that knowledge and is able to try to get that one step up, and that's what their intent is, we just have to make sure that we're doing what we can to keep up.
By manufacturers.
I think there has to be some way maybe to improve on the remote, or in some way blocking the signal that goes from the car to the remote maybe.
How do we secure the vehicle that it can't be stolen without making the vehicle more expensive that it can't be purchased?
And by vehicle owners.
The stolen car is just the end result of all their planning and all their steps before they get that car. But if they want your car, they're going to get it.
Alyssa Kratz, Fox 43 News.